What up, y'all? This is Zircon signing into another episode of Gaming Thoughts with Z. This is a little segment I do after the completion of a recently released game where I give my own personal thoughts and opinions and a little bit about the game. This time we're going over Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. Now let's start with what this game is. This is a CRPG. This is essentially a D&D based D&D based game. Where you create a character, you jump on in, go through a massive adventure, and see the outcomes. It is full of decision makings where each decision or most decisions have a specific outcome. Now just start with the game. My personal thoughts and opinions. Wow. Biggest thought is wow. Now, forewarning, this might be a little bit of a lengthy segment because there's a lot to go over in this game. There is a lot to go over in this game. I need to start actually making a pen and paper for this. But anyways, so you start off by making a character, and you jump right in. And what this game is about is the player character, creating a character to jump into the fray of fighting demons and trying to close a world wound, which is a giant rift or portal to the demon realm. And this is a lengthy process. There's a lot to go through, a lot to do, and trust me, you're gonna want to hunker down and jump on in. But if you're okay with that, this is definitely the game for you. I clocked this game in about 260 hours of total gameplay. That does not include in-game time. That's essentially the amount of time it took me before I fully completed the game myself, which probably one of the most lengthy playthroughs I have ever done. And I'd like to just go ahead and just straight up say this has been my favorite CRPG I have played out of all of them so far, even more than Baldur's Gate 2 and Pathfinder, and its recent sort of not actual prequel, but a sort of a side prequel called Pathfinder Kingmaker. That game was one of my favorites as well, and this game really topped it by a large margin. Now, granted, there's definitely some bugs in here. The devs, thankfully, are actually great devs, and they've been working hard on getting rid of all the bugs. They're actually working on a beta patch at the moment of this review, and they're getting rid of a lot of bugs. Now, there are two aspects to the game. There's the main game, which you go through the map, find different sections, beat a lot of quests, and gain XP and get your character leveled up. That's really all RPGs anyways. But there's also a second part of this where it is called I will not get into the specifics of it. I will not give out what it's called due to partial spoilers. But it is essentially a form of might and magic, if you haven't looked into it, where you control armies and fight other armies and deal with everything like that. Man, this is turning out to be a very bad thoughts video. Bear with me. I haven't done one of these in a while. So, things that I absolutely really loved. There is a lot. If you had played the original Pathfinder Kingmaker, it's basically all of that with a lot more. And I mean a lot more. There's rotational camera, which I have absolutely loved. They actually added in right away turn-based, which me personally, I am a turn-based person. I will play it that way. But if it didn't have turn-based, I would have still absolutely loved this game, which I absolutely loved Kingmaker when it came out. And it originally had nothing but real time with pause. And it was still one of my favorite CRPGs. It also had new companion abilities. It had for your animal companions that they added in, new animal companions, and new level ups for the animal companions where you can control their level ups and even equip their gear. New spells, new art, a lot of voice actings. The voice acting, phenomenal, especially the dialogue. I absolutely loved almost every single dialogue that came out. There was some dark dialogue, sad dialogue, good dialogue, hilarious dialogue. There's just a lot. The story, oh wow, the long. There is definitely some parts that if you're not carefully paying attention, you may miss. The story is fantastic. I absolutely love it. This game is actually based off of the written adventure books in the Pathfinder system, by the same title, Wrath of the Righteous. And wow, this game absolutely does not disappoint in all that aspects. Now, for the sad part, there is still, with how large this game being one of the largest CRPGs in existence, there's still a lot of bugs. I myself ran into a lot of these bugs, and one of them unfortunately caused me to have to turn that second game style in the game on auto, which with that it's called Crusade. It is called well, the game system itself has a function where you're able to turn it on auto and it's automatically successful, and it would shorten up game time by a margin. I unfortunately ran into a bug that caused me to have to turn it on auto, which was unfortunate. Because by turning it on auto, two things about it. One, turning it on auto actually just completely stops it, and you can no longer turn it off. You won't be able to go back to it unless you go to a previous save before you turn it on auto. And two, there are some quests and aspects of that where if you don't complete them, it does take away some of the decisions and especially some big decisions and sort of changes up the game a little bit, and including like the later aspects in the game, which is a bit unfortunate. There was definitely other than that, I think that's really all the stuff I really did not like about the game. They are still working on the bugs, which is awesome. But end of the day, this game is fantastic. Especially for those of you who love CRPGs, this was fantastic, especially with the fact that it does give you the option to choose between real-time with pause and turn-based. Awesome fact about that is you can even switch between that. You can actually switch between that, even both in combat and out of combat, which is great. So you can actually do a little bit of mix and match, especially if you start getting to like weaker mobs where you don't want to waste the time. You can just click it on real time with pause and just let it go and click it back on for the bigger fights. The art style now, but yeah, I think end of the day, this game is absolutely something special. Now, one of my biggest worries for Owlcat Games, was the developers of this game, is where do they go from here? How can they go bigger than this? That is one of my biggest worries for the game, for their futures. How do they go bigger than this? I would love to see how they go bigger than this. But as for that, I have nothing else to say for this. I absolutely love this game. It is fantastic. Now, it is not for the faint of heart. Oh, yes. One other thing I will state that is a bit of a downside is it's not exactly newer player friendly. Not exactly. It does give tutorials. It actually gives a lot more tutorials than the first game, Kingmaker. but it's still not. There's a lot to take in right from the beginning. There's a lot of classes. There's a lot of subclasses. There's a lot of races. There's a lot of stuff to just understand and take in, which isn't exactly friendly, newer player friendly. So if you're new to this and you want to get into the Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, I would definitely suggest you do two things. One, read up on it a little bit, but two, follow a build guide. Yeah, follow a build guide. There, by the time at end of this video, there should definitely be a lot of build guides out there so that you can follow and shouldn't have any worries. Hopefully. But other than that, guys, that's all I have. Hope you enjoyed this little segment. Even though it's a little bit rough on the around the edges, which I apologize. I haven't done one of these in a while. As anything else, I thank you guys for watching. If you wish to watch my entire playthrough, which will be a lengthy playthrough, forewarning there, I will have a link in the description down below for my playlist. And if you do go and watch it, have fun, enjoy, hunker down, and relax. I said that a little bit out of order. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And as always, stay active and stay connected. And I hope to see you all next time. This is Archon, signing out. Bye, y'all.